I'm just waiting for this thing to paginate. Okay. You got a fat book, Adam.
Oh my God, this is the last class this term.
Yeah.
I forgot I had to do one this morning.
Somebody asked me what you guys should do in between. I mean, I'll work on your text for a couple. Oh, yeah, 6 weeks. Translate, keep track of your hours, get paid for your hours.
Is it 4 hours a day, like the normal limit to ACIP activity?
I don't know how it works, but
Okay.
we'll be lucky to sustain that
All right.
without Mr. Wu. So let's say that. And then I'll keep trying to fundraise. We'll do the Mr. Lu's and the Mr. Wu's, and we're going to Shenzhen in August. We'll try to dig up some money there. I think there's a huge company that's invited me there. They're into copper and semiconductors, mining copper. So, so they might be interested. I'll keep fundraising when I have time. You keep working on your texts. Do the best you can. Probably send it to me as you go. Put it in the Dropbox and send it to me. Just keep bothering me. You won't get any answer. But at least I'll be able to tell you if you're doing something really wrong. Okay, and then I'll clean it all up by. You got 6 weeks. I got like 12 weeks, and then will be time to start again. And as much as you can help ACIP in the meantime, that's the karma to be able to find things on Gopher. Why do I find all these things? It's because we gave the database to the world, so keep doing that. And work with each other. If you can hypertext,
Come to me.
I'll
help
that's
you
the
set up.
that's the best thing you can do.
Come to me.
If you can hypertext, it's just a daily thing, like Gandhiji said. Every day, get up, weave for half an hour, and that's how he got the British out of India. He broke their monopoly on cloth, and it has to be a daily habit of about half an hour to an hour, or it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't help. It has to be daily for the rest of your life. Hypertexting, okay? And that will create a database. That will create a dictionary that everybody else can use. Okay? When I'm giving these weird explanations of weird expressions, you can't find them anywhere else. So, okay, that's my advice. Do your, by the way, keep your book, do your yoga, do your meditation. You know that, yeah. But do your hypertexting. And so work on your translation. But whether it goes well or not will depend on what happens in the Tungingo will depend on Tunsam.
What happens between the interim period will depend on what happens
Sessions.
between the semester will depend on what you do in the interim.
Well, what happens when you're working on your text depends on what you do when you're not working on your text. Okay, how much you serve people. Okay. All right, let's go, Adam.
Sashi
Puki Jushin Metop Tram Rira Bingshin Yende Gempadi Sangye Shindu Mikde Owargi Jokud Namdak Shingla Chuparsho Yang Guru Radnamadala Kamyatayami
Sangye
Chedam Soki Chonam La Chanchu Bardu Dagni Kapsuchi Daki Chenyen Gipe Sanam Ki Dola Penchir Sangye Druparsho
Sangye
Chedam Soki Chonam La Chanchu Bardu Dagni Kapsuchi Daki Chenyen Gipe Sanam Ki Dola Penchir Sangye Druparsho
Sangye
Chedan Soki Chonam La Chanchu Bardu Dagni Katsuchi Daki Chenyen Gipe Sanam Ki Dola Penchir Sangye Druparsho Sho
Stalling.
No, his text I don't have to stall. I did this so long. Okay, please read. Kajigari. Oh, sorry.
Lovely mountain.
This is the Mimikpa. Mikmek. It's coming. I can tell it's coming. Come on. Here we go. Yes.
Kachignari.
Good.
Sheja Churchin. Ngopo Yumbar Tal. Ngopo Topit Sema Mebar Topit Sema Yupar Topit Sema Yupar Yupe Cheer Serna.
Yeah, good. Okay, Kajinari. Sheja Chechen, let's take all existing things, which is a synonym for existence. Ngopo Yimbata. Are you telling me it's a ngopo? I know Ben doesn't like this argument.
I'm coming around.
Because there does exist a correct perception that perceives that there does exist a correct perception that perceives that there doesn't exist a correct perception that it's a changing, that it's a functioning thing. So you just pile up mepas and yupas. Basically saying, if there's a perception that sees, I don't know, ngopo sama mepa, topi sama yupa, topi sama yupa, there does exist, that there does exist, that there doesn't exist. Sama toba.
There's
It's
sema
negative,
that
right?
there's sema that there's no sema of them being nopo.
Something like that. Serna, gyal kyam la pu. Here's the guts of it. Gyal kyam ma la pu means I'm going to spit it out because what you said proves the opposite of what you thought it was going to prove. Okay, what's this say? There does exist a perception that there does exist a perception. Doesn't matter how many does exist perception you load, it just means there is. There does exist a perception that there is no perception that it's a ngupo. So, if there does exist a perception that there doesn't exist a perception that it's a ngupo, it must not be a ngupo. So it's a stupid proof. You know, what you're trying to prove, you just prove the opposite. Gyal kyap. Okay, put la. Therefore, I put. You know, we can just forget it. Okay, we can. What do you call it?
Throw it away.
Yeah, something like that. If you disagree, sheja chicken, go to some mepitobism, yubitobism, yubital, there does exist a perception that there does exist a perception that there doesn't exist a perception that it's a functioning thing. Okay, doesn't matter how many tsema yupars you stack up, they all just equal there is. Okay? If there exists a correct perception that something is there, it doesn't matter how many of those you pile up, it's all good. It's all there. But if what you perceive is that there doesn't exist a perception that it's a functioning thing, then it can't be a functioning thing. That's all.
Okay.
Easy. Okay? What's not a functioning thing?
Sheja.
Yeah, good. Sheja. And now this is a, debatable thing. You can debate it for a while. Is all of existence changing or unchanging? And most of us would say if it exists, if it contains one thing that's changing, the whole must be changing. Right? In Buddhist logic, if it contains one thing which is unchanging, the whole is unchanging.
So it's
Could we say
all
at
of
least in
existence
this
is
the
school?
other way
unchanging.
around?
No.
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 In this
Yeah.
school, Sheja is Takpa,
Yeah, great.
even though it includes lots of changing things
right,
inside of it.
So
Okay.
it's one
Because
unchanging
it includes
thing.
all time.
To give it in an easy way, if you say everything that does exist and ever existed and ever will exist, it doesn't matter how many things are changing inside. As a whole, it's unchanging. It doesn't get less or more. all the things that ever existed, all the things that do exist, and everything that will exist is a certain number of stuff, and that number can't change. Okay, if you look at it that way, maybe it's easier. Okay, if you look at it a different way, that once something changes, it drops out of unchanging things, or if you look at it that this coffee cup will be destroyed by the end of the day, hopefully, and therefore there's one less shija in the universe. The total number, population of shijas changes constantly. In that case, shija is changing. But if you say it as the object of a Buddhist mind, if you say it as the object of a Buddhist mind, I think you're covered. Then I think you're covered. Everything that ever existed, everything that will exist, and everything that exists now, that set doesn't change. Okay. I know what you're saying, but I know what you're saying. Okay, we're on to another. I'm just saying that's one way that I can understand it. Okay, now we're on to another thing called yin log, min log. And we pointed out yesterday that there's a food that refers to log. Pancakes. Okay. Flipping them is called log. Okay, flip the pancake is lokpa. Okay, so that'll help you get. We're just flipping yin and min. Okay. Yin log, min log, and namshak shepala. So each subject of the Dura has its own nickname. And this one's called yin log, min log. The last one is called yuto meto. Okay. Flipping is and flipping isn't. Flipping is and isn't. Flipping is and isn't.
Are these the names in that outline that comes later in the text?
Probably. I'm reading the table of contents.
Yeah.
Okay. Kajignari, please read.
Yinlok minlok ginam shak shepala.
Nice.
Kachignare ngopo mayimba le lokpa yina. Shepa mayimba le lokpa yimpe kyap serna.
Good. I know I have to. No, never mind. I'm not going to complain about today. Just Mayambale Lopa. It's not you guys, it's what I have to do next. Mayambale Lopa. The opposite of what it isn't. Just remember that. The opposite, the reverse of everything it isn't, is what a thing is. The reverse of everything a thing isn't. Yeah. Take everything it's not and cancel out what's left. That's all. Take everything it's not, cancel that, and what do you got left? That's called Mayambale Lopa. Okay, Mayambale Lopa. The opposite of what it is not. Except, there's an argument in this school that even though the coffee cup may be changing, the opposite of all that it's not is unchanging. Because that's a archetype. That's a Jungian archetype. It's the perfect coffee cup.
Yeah, right.
It's the one your mother had in her hand when she taught you the word.
Right.
Okay, that's normally what people think of. Okay. Yimbale lopa yina ship. So if lopo mayambale lopa yina. So what is the opposite of all that's not the coffee cup? Coffee cup. What's the opposite of all that is not a functioning thing? Functioning thing. Okay. Then we say, if something is the opposite of all that's not a functioning thing, it must be the opposite of all that is not mind, mental things.
Oh, wow.
Which is to say, lopo yena shepa yin bikyap.
Okay.
Lopo yena shepa yin bikyap. What's that mean? Lopo yena shepa yin bikyap.
Ngopo yimba.
Yena.
Ngopo yina. It is a functioning thing.
If something is a
If something
functioning
is a
thing,
functioning thing,
Shepa yin
shepala,
bikyap.
it is an object of consciousness.
It must be consciousness itself.
Consciousness.
Okay.
Sorry.
Which is to say, there's only one category in changing things. That's what his argument boils down to. Now, for our counterexample, all we have to do is take a changing thing which is not mental. Okay, easy. Let's take a coffee cup. Boompa. Boompa. Let's take a water vase. Okay. Read. I'm just interested in your towel. I want to see if your towel goes up and down. So you could just read really slow until you hit the ta.
Shepa mayimba le lopa yimbar ta.
Uh-oh.
No,
Yeah.
it's a
Ta.
Ta. Yimba ta. Yimba ta. So I guess it's the opposite of everything that's not mine. So I guess it's the opposite of everything that's not mine.
Yeah,
Right?
that's right. Yeah.
It's always sarcastic. After the counterexample, it's already sarcastic. I guess it's orange juice, right? All liquids are orange juice. I'll take this one. I guess it's orange juice, right? So first tell is always down.
Boomba.
Bumba.
Oh, that's right. We did just start in the order.
Okay, let's take a water base. So I guess it's everything that's the opposite. I guess it's what is the opposite of everything that a mind is not.
Mhm.
Okay, why? Because it's the opposite of all that is not a functioning thing. Because you said if something is the opposite of all that's a function, if something is everything that's the opposite of functioning, if something is the opposite of everything that's not a functioning thing, it must be the opposite of everything that's not mind. Okay, Kabake, you said that. You said necessarily so. Okay, that was your position. Madubna, I disagree. It's the opposite of everything that's not a functioning thing. We're talking about vases, water, okay? Is it the opposite of all that's not a functioning thing? Is it a working thing?
Mhm.
Yeah. Therefore, it's the opposite of all that's not a working thing,
Mhm.
okay? If you disagree to that, let's take
A coffee cup.
Pumpa again. Yes, it is
Yes, it is a functioning thing.
the opposite
Or
of
it's the
everything,
opposite of everything is not a functioning
which is functioning thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? Here. Yes, it is the opposite of all that's not a functioning thing because it's a functioning thing. Then if he says tamadub to that,
Let's talk about a coffee cup.
yeah.
It is. I guess it's a functioning thing.
Of course it's a functioning thing because it's Dunjanupa.
Because it functions. It does things.
Good, because it does something. You just put it in plain English, because it does something. It held my coffee.
Oh no.
Did you know? Just because something does something doesn't prove it's functioning. Makebna, Karayavata, Dunjanupa is the very definition of a ngupo. Come on, man. Doing something is the definition of a functioning thing. Come on.
Okay, I guess.
Sawaduna. Now, if you agree to our original statement, rather than going back and looking for it, which would be responsible and you would learn more, you can just jump ahead and then do the opposite of the next sentence.
That's right. That's right.
Guess which one I do.
So if it's not mind, because it's
Yeah, just
if
take
it's
off
not
the
mind, it's
ma.
not mind.
Just take off the ma.
Yeah, because it's mind, or the opposite of. It's the opposite of everything that is not
mine. Good.
And
No.
because
Okay.
it is mind.
So Tsawaduna, if you do agree, what you're saying is that it's the opposite of all that is not mine. What? A coffee cup. We're still in the same coffee cup. Okay? If you do agree back there, then are you saying that this is the opposite of all that's not mine? Okay? Yimbata. Why? Because it's the opposite of all that is mine. It's not the opposite of all that's not mine. It's the opposite of what is mine.
Mhm.
Got it?
Yeah.
You okay? Don't make faces at me.
Well, it's a
I didn't write the book.
Because he said bumpa not nopa.
He
So
said what?
it's overly specific.
It is only specific, but let's leave it.
Okay.
Okay?
It's overly general.
It's not all that is the.
Things that are
It's
not
not. It's not the opposite of everything that's not mine. It happens to be something which isn't mine.
Oh, that's
Mhm.
okay.
It, before the
Physical
second
thing
flip,
is mind,
Yeah.
and things
it's
are
it's
you.
in the category of
So
stuff
we're looking at
during the first
just
flip.
saying, okay, if it's nopo, it's not
Okay.
of the
It's
second
it's a thing that's in the category of not mine,
Okay.
not the category of what's all that's not mine.
Okay. Okay. Fine.
Okay,
Right.
this is helpful in the study of emptiness because emptiness is always a not. In DCI we just say not. Okay, it's not what. The second husband is not something that's not coming from me.
No.
Okay? The second husband is not something that's not coming from me. Therefore, it's useful to study this subject. Okay? Therefore, it's useful to study this subject because emptiness is a mayambale lokpa. Emptiness is the absence of a husband who could not be coming from you. Mayambale lokpa. Okay? Got it? Shepa yambale lokpa yambeche. Madhubna, I disagree that this is something which is non-mind. Okay? Madhubna brahmacharya. Shepa yambale lokpa yambata. Yes, it is something which is not mine because it's not mine. When you flip mine, when you talk about everything that's not mine, that category, well, this is one of them. It's one of the things that's in that category of things that aren't mental. I disagree that coffee cups aren't in the group of things that are not mine. He says, Madhu.
Isn't he disagreeing that it's not simply not mine? Not
Yeah, you can say that. I disagree that it's in the category of things which are not mine. That it's a member of the group which is not mine. In the long run, you're going to have to say something like that. You figure it out. Bubba let's take this coffee cup. Shepa mayimba ta. No, it's not mine, because it's
matter, physical.
It's physical matter. It's particulate matter, if you want to get sticky. Just because it's particulate matter doesn't mean it's not mine. That's his new answer. Okay? Just, he's a scientist. He's a behavioral scientist. Just because something is the brain doesn't prove it's not mine. Oh, yes, there is a cap to that, because now somebody, Adam, sit with this one and give me a good translation.
To be one is to be. They're contradictory in the sense that
there's no one thing
that is both.
Good. There's no one thing which can be both. Okay. There's no shitun. There's no one thing which can be both mind and form.
Common locus.
How about the category of changing things?
There's things that are neither mind nor...
Yeah, that's a long story. Okay, next debate. Please read.
Kachinare sukma yimba le lok payina pumpa yimba le lok payimpe kapsana.
This one kind of hinges partly on the difference between suki pumbo and suk as a dhatu or an ayatana. Who can explain?
Yeah, it's suk as in what's the object of the eye versus suk as in temple.
Yeah, as physical.
Right.
Okay, got it?
Which is the pumbo?
Which is
No, I
right.
think the pumbo is
Not
the
the
one that's
right.
Pumpo is all
physical
form.
matter.
Not the heat.
Yeah. Is there stuff in the pumbo
Yeah.
that's not in the ayatana?
Yeah.
Is
Well,
there stuff?
yeah.
in the
Yeah,
Pumba
if you...
that-
What?
Except-
Sure.
What? Thank you very much.
Sound.
Yeah, sound good. Okay. It's part of the heap of
Which is
form,
what I was gonna say.
but it's not the object of the eye.
Yeah.
So suk is ambiguous. The word form is ambiguous. That's why I keep it as form, because form is a sort of a general word. We don't really say form for physical things. We say concrete things, but it's a good ambiguous word. Okay. If something is the opposite of everything that's not form, then it must be a vase. Meaning, it must be all that a vase is. It must be the opposite of all that is not a vase. Okay? If something is the opposite of all that is not form, it must be the opposite of all that is not a vase. Meaning, the only thing in the category of form is vases. So all we need in a counterexample is something that's not a vase, but still physical. Okay, Dachichen. Let's take sounds. Are you telling me it's the opposite of all that is not a vase? Of a coffee shop? Coffee shop. Coffee cup. Are you telling me it's the opposite of all that is not a coffee cup? Why do you say that? Because it is the opposite of all that is not form. Well, I didn't say that. Well, yeah, you did. You said necessarily so. If one is the other, if one is one, then one is the other. If something is the opposite of all that's not a vase, it must be the opposite of all that is not form. You said that, not me. Okay, got it? Just nod. Madhubna, I disagree that it's in the category of all that is not form. The opposite of all that is not form. Sound. Okay? Oh, we'll take sound then. It is so in the category of the opposite of all that is not form. Why do you say that? Because it's form. Okay. Oh, I disagree, it's form. Haha. Let's take sound. Yes, it is form. It's sound. That's an illegal proof.
Right.
That's an illegal proof.
Even Tibetan reason.
Yeah, that's an illegal proof. You can't use the same thing. Honey, we should go to the restaurant that I like tonight because it's the restaurant I like. You're supposed to say something different as the reason. For example, because you would like it too. You're supposed to say something different in the reason. For example, because you would like it too. Okay.
That's your work on him.
At Saraduna, if you don't remember what the Sawa was, reverse the next one.
Oh.
Reverse the next one. It is the opposite of all that's not a vase. A coffee cup is the opposite of all that's not a coffee cup. Okay? Dachi-chan. Oh, so you're telling me it is the opposite of all that's not a coffee cup, right? Why? Because it belongs in the category of all that is not a coffee cup. I'm sorry. No, it's not, no, it doesn't belong in the category of all that's not the opposite of a coffee cup, because it's in the opposite of what's a coffee cup. It's not a flip flop. It's just a flip. Okay. Sound is not okay, because it's simply not. It's in the category of things that are not coffee cups. Well, why? Take sound. It is too in the opposite of things that are not coffee cups, because it's not a coffee cup.
Makes sense.
No, it doesn't.
I disagree that sound is not in the category of things called not coffee cups. Let's take sound. It is so in the it is so not a coffee cup because it's sound. Again, an illegal proof. Just because it's sound doesn't mean it's not a coffee cup. If you don't agree that just because something's sound doesn't prove it's not a coffee cup, it does so prove it because, Adam, while I drink coffee, I'm so inspired.
Because there's not one thing which is
Good.
both a sound and a coffee cup.
And don't
Very nice. And don't let anybody say common locus of these, just say it in plain English. There's no one thing which is both a coffee cup and sound. Okay, nice. I appreciate your translation. Shenyang.
Smell of sandalwood.
Moreover, now we're just going to hit him with a different example. Tsendengi teacher Chen.
Smell of sandalwood.
Yeah, let's consider the smell of sandalwood. Tsenden. Bumba yimbale lopa yimba. Tal or tau? Do we believe it is
It's
something?
sarcastic this time, right?
Yes, it's sarcastic. Good.
This is going down.
Yeah, are you telling me it belongs in the category of things left over when you flip the opposite of coffee cups? When you cancel all things that are not coffee cups, is the smell of sandalwood sitting there? That's our sarcastic. Well, it must be, because that's also the opposite of all that is not form. Meaning it's a kind of form. Okay. Kabake, you said if it's the opposite of all that's not form, it must be the opposite of all that's not coffee cup. Okay, Kabake. Madubna, if you don't agree, let's take the smell of sandalwood. It is so the opposite of all that's not form, because it's an example of form. I disagree that the smell of sandalwood is a kind of form. Oh, if you disagree that the smell of sandalwood is a kind of form, let's consider the smell of sandalwood. It is too a kind of form because it's kiche.
It's the door of sense
Good,
and smell.
great, yeah, because it's the door of sense and smell. Tsawa Duna, I don't remember what Tsawa was, but I'll just read what comes next. Sandalwood.
Smell.
Anyway, let's keep going. Sendegi jichichen, take the smell of sandalwood. Bumba mayambali loba mayambutal. No, it's not the opposite of all that is not a vase. Okay?
Okay.
No, it's not the opposite of all that is not a vase. Why? Because it's the opposite of what's a vase. Okay? Got it?
Isn't that also illegal?
Nope.
Okay.
The chichen,
Oh.
yeah, it's a Mayan here.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Madubna sending, if you don't agree, let's take the smell sandalwood. Bumba yimbale lopa yimbatal. Yes, it is in the category of things that are non-bumbas, non-coffee cups. Why? Because it's not a coffee cup. No, it's not. That's a logical statement. It does exist in the category of things that are not coffee cups because it's not a coffee cup. That's okay. That logic is okay. Madubna, I disagree. I disagree that the smell of sandalwood's not a coffee cup. Sending a chichen. Coffee cup mayabata? No, it's not a coffee cup because it's a smell. Okay.
That's good.
Tea and beichin, but I think coffee cup is a smell.
What?
Mm.
The smell of a coffee.
You never been so hungry for coffee in the morning and somebody opened up a bag of coffee and you're like,
But it's not 7.
okay. Just because something's a smell doesn't prove it's not a coffee cup. It can't. Just because a thing's a smell doesn't prove it can't be a coffee cup. He says, "Makya." There's a kabayavata. It is so the case that if something is a smell, it can't be a coffee cup because
This is
here you
one thing, which is
Good.
both a coffee cup and its smell.
good, yeah, because there's no possible thing that combines both of those things, coffee cup and a smell.
There's not a cup.
And now we consider him to be destroyed. And we, when you see kajignare, it means I'm not going to waste any more time with you, man. Let's go to somebody else.
That means the first.
Let's go to another debater. I hope somebody else can do better. It's like you feel him just like, it happens in the monastery. You just turn away from the guy and, is there anybody else? You know? Lopa yimbale lopa yina. Lopa yimbale lopa yimbikyap sena. If something is the opposite of a functioning thing, if something is the opposite of a functioning thing, okay, I think I'm okay. If something is the opposite of a functioning thing, then it must be the opposite of a functioning thing. If something is the opposite of a functioning thing, it must be the opposite of a functioning thing.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not
As well as kachinari.
The
Yeah.
opposite.
opposite. The opposite means the opposite.
No.
That's what he said.
Oh.
That's what he said.
The opposite of an opposite.
Got it?
Okay.
Okay. Then we take omniscience. Let's take omniscience.
No.
It's so okay. Lopo yimbale lopo yimbata. Are you telling me it's the opposite? Yeah. Are you telling me it's the opposite of a functioning thing? Why? Because lopo yimbale lopo limali open. Because it's the opposite of a functioning thing.
Mhm.
Okay. Are you telling me the Buddha's state of mind is the opposite of a functioning thing? He says why? We say, well, because it's the opposite of a functioning thing. You said that. You said if it's the opposite of a functioning thing, it had to be the opposite of a functioning thing. Everybody okay?
Yeah.
Okay, Kabake, you're the one who proposed that. Okay. I disagree that the Buddha's omniscience is the opposite of a functioning thing. Let's take the Buddha's omniscience. It is to the opposite of a functioning thing because it's a functioning thing. No problem, right? I disagree that just because something is a functioning thing doesn't mean. I disagree that just because something is a functioning thing, it has to be the opposite of a functioning thing. Who believes that if it's a functioning thing, it must be the opposite of a functioning thing? We believe that. Yeah. He said I disagree. If you disagree, Kabayobata, it is necessarily the case because if something is the opposite of a functioning thing, it's yin kyap nyam. Can you give me that one? These two sets are yin kyap nyam.
Yeah, they're not equal.
They are
They
equal.
are equal.
Yeah,
Nyam is
what?
equal.
The set of
And
all
then-
functioning things and the set of everything that's the opposite of a functioning thing are equal.
Yeah.
Those two sets are equal extent. There's a logic word, I can't.
I tried to look it up. There's like equal and equivalent.
Pervasion, they call it pervasion.
Oh.
They're equal pervasion. Okay. And I
Translation of Tibetan,
Yeah, and I hope you never use that.
Great. Good.
Okay, Sawaduna. If you agree back to what we said before, and I don't remember what it was, and neither do you, look at the next statement. Namken Churchen. Let's take the.
No.
You can't say that the omniscience of a Buddha is in the category of things that are not functioning things. Okay? You can't say that the omniscience of a Buddha is in the category of things which are not functioning things. Why not? Because it's the opposite of it. Because it's something which is the opposite of what's not a functioning thing. The omniscience of a Buddha is in the category of things which are the opposite of a functioning thing.
Yeah, right.
That's our position.
That's pretty.
The omniscience of a Buddha is in the category of things that are the opposite of a functioning thing. This is meant to sharpen your mind. It's probably just dulling your mind. Okay, Madhumna. I disagree that omniscience is part of the set of things which are the opposite of a functioning thing. Okay? Then let's take omniscience. Yes, it is in the category of things that are the opposite of a functioning thing. Okay? You alright? Why? Because it's a functioning thing. If it's a functioning thing, are you saying that if it's a functioning thing, it must be in the category of the opposite of functioning? Yeah, that's what I just said. Madhubna Namken Chen. So Adam's going to be further ahead in his book's going to be twice as fat as your book in about 3 days. Madhubna Namken Chen. Let's take omniscience. It is too a functioning thing because who can give me this one?
It's things which is
I'll give you a clue. Bem, comma, she, comma, dem and duce.
Oh, you have matter, consciousness, and then things which are neither. The
Yeah,
three,
changing things which are needed. Be
and
careful.
They're suitable as changing things which are neither consciousness and.
Yeah, so he said it is a changing thing because it's in one of those three categories. It is too a changing thing because it's in one of those three categories. Mental things, physical things, or changing things which are neither mental nor physical. Okay. Well, I disagree that it's in one of those three categories. If you disagree, let's take omniscience. It is too in one of those categories. Okay. By the way, I want to teach you a very, very important thing. I'm going to say something about Kongrun. Who can guess what I'm going to say?
Whatever is
Don't
suitable to be called.
Yeah, don't say it is suitable as all three.
Maybe I should have bet money on this one. $50. I hope V brings some money. She didn't get. She didn't get. Can you?
Oh well, because
Oh, she just said
there
yes.
is no thing which is all three.
Nope.
There's some.
What's the technically, how should you translate Kongrun in any group over 2?
Whichever. Or no, not whichever, but like,
1 or more. Okay, I'm just teaching you
because
that.
one or more.
Okay, that's
Okay.
right. Anyone or more.
Yeah, I'm just teaching you that. Some arguments depend on that meaning of Kongrun.
Okay.
Kongrun can mean any one or more of the above.
Okay. It's in
Kongrun can mean any one or more of the above. So my $50 is safe. Okay, it is too any one or more of the three of, physical matter, mental things, or those which are neither but still changing, because it's a mental thing. Oh, I disagree that Namken is a mental thing. I disagree that omniscience is a mental thing. Okay, if you disagree that omniscience is a mental thing, let's take omniscience. Shebayin Batao. Yes, it is a mental thing because.
Because it's an accurate perception.
Now I'll kiss you, but your wife is here and she'll get jealous.
Basically just,
Okay.
This is the designated stopping time.
Come on,
No,
let's
I mean,
do
we
a
started-
little
We
more.
started late, so I think it's fine.
I know, let's go a
I
little
don't know
more.
what time your appointments begin. So
10 after 12.
your
So I have to
appointments
leave at
begin in
12:09.
9
So
minutes.
you have 9 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what's the rush? Madhumna, if you disagree, Namken Chuchen. Semayin Batao, Namken Yin Becher. Is that a legal or an illegal statement?
It's illegal.
Let's take omniscience. It's an inaccurate perception because it's omniscience.
That's illegal.
Quite darned illegal.
We are of the mixed nuts school. Since the Sedura is going this way, we're going to say if you change your tone of voice, it's legal.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, okay. This has been a theme. all
Because if I say take omniscience, it's an accurate perception. Because it's omniscience. You know, if I say it that way, is the subject the same as the reason?
Totally.
No.
It's a text law.
How do you
No,
define
assuming you're sitting with a bunch of Buddhists, okay, educated Buddhists. Then if you like laugh and say, "Come on, man," because it's omniscient. Does that work in the everyday world?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Embarrass him in front of his friends, but he's still
I can't read words text because it's words text, man. No, you can say the same thing, but if you change your tone of voice, people will accept it as a good reason. Oh yeah, it's words text. Yeah, because it's words text, man. Oh yeah, it's words text. You know, I mean, it works. That means it's a good reason.
So
It works for
actually-
somebody, so it's a good reason.
Then the carver would have had to carve it differently.
How do you,
A little bit
how do you
cheap.
translate ha ha ha?
Yeah. Like it sounds.
I have to write
Flop.
it shadows. Tibetan words have
Now, let's finish this next part. It's sexy. It's really sexy. Let's finish the next one. Shenyang, moreover, Damitaba. Now we're getting into the status of statements.
of
Yeah.
statements.
We are getting into the status of truths,
Oh, cool.
okay? Which is somewhere we wanted to go.
Cool.
This is the second school belief, right?
Mm.
Shenyang, Damitaba Chuchen. Let's take the fact that sound is changing. Let's take the fact that sound is changing, okay? Oh, are you telling me it's the opposite of a changing thing? Okay. I'm sorry.
It is the
Because it is a
opposite of
changing
the
thing? Are you telling me it's the opposite of a changing thing because it's a changing thing? Because it's the opposite of everything that is the opposite of a changing thing?
Oh yeah. Oh no, it's sarcastic. Oh, it.
Is
It
this
is,
someone
yeah,
else
yeah.
coming?
This
The
is good.
Shenyang? This is someone else coming and starting a debate?
More,
No.
he's
Seems
attacking the
like
same
it's-
debate from a different way.
I think it's us.
Is he driving home the point?
I think no. There's something stinky going on here.
It's sticky.
Yeah, when's he gonna give up? Got you from the.
Oh, I don't like where this is going. I'm gonna just cancel it.
There's no way.
Just erase it.
It's in a racist part of it.
Yeah, let's stop here. It's not going the way I want. It's not going the way I want. It's not going the way I want. I'm canceling it.
Boy.
It's funny. We live in a world where $3 signs means cancel this. Give it that one. I'll tell you the punchline, okay?
Yeah.
Dami Takpa.
Sound
different from Dami Takpa
Sound. The fact that
Yeah,
sound is-
that's the question.
whether it
Dami
is-
Takpa can mean sound is changing, or it can mean unchanging sound.
Right.
unchanging or
Right.
changing.
And this is probably unchanging.
Ja mitapa can mean ja, which is mitapa, or it can mean the fact that ja is mitapa.
Mm-hmm.
And those, one of those is changing and one of those is unchanging.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Okay. So it's a ambiguity. It's a play on the ambiguity of Dramitapa. I'll say it again. I'll say it again. Dramitapa can mean sound which is changing, or it can mean the fact that sound is changing.
right. One of which is an unchanging thing.
Yeah, and one of which is a changing thing.
Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah.
it's an equational sentence in grammar.
But then he starts to prove that it's
He goes here on changing thing.
yeah.
He's reading as da. He's reading as da mitapa.
Changing stuff.
Da mitapa,
Right.
and we're reading as da mitapa. Pause in the middle or no pause in the middle.
John, we talk about Yimba.
If you say yimba, it's totally clear. The
Uh,
fact that. But you don't have to say the yimba, and it can still mean the fact that. Okay?
but
Just nod.
But.
Okay, so good luck. In my opinion, this is the most amazing thing that's happened in the universe, and I hope you keep working hard, and please don't be lazy, work hard, you know, because what you're doing is will change the world. If this is in plain English, it will turn the whole world upside down. Okay, so work hard, work really hard. Okay, don't take it lightly. Okay, it's a big deal. This may be the only true thing in the world right now. So, in this little room. So take care of it. Okay, and each person just take laksam namda. You know, I will finish my translation. I don't care what happens. You know, I will take care. I will make this thing happen. Okay, each person. Don't worry. Okay. All right.
Sashi
Pugi Joshin Meto Tam Rira Vingshi Nyende Gyempani Sangye Shingdu Migde Uwargi Jokun Namdak Shingha Juparsho Inam Guru Ratna Mandala Kangyatayami Di Kewo Kun Sunam Yeshe Tsotsok Shing Sunam Yeshe Le Chung We Tambar Kunyi Topar Sho. All right.
Thank you, Lama.
thank you, Geshe-la.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.